Hello folks, my name is ATREOUS and I'm super happy to be back on YouTube after a very long period, and in today's video we are looking into my latest release track Say My Name, which was released on Chord Records, which sounds like this. So here we are inside the project. So let me show you the first initial idea. As you heard, it sounds fantastic, but how does it started? Well, it started about a year ago when Relimax sent me the initial idea they created with Heaven. I listened to the track and I really fell in love with the melody. And then I decided to take the project to another level. And let's dive into the project and let's see what changes I made to the track. So first change I added that I changed their piano. So I added my piano, which sounds like this. So for this piano sound, I'm using Contact Noir library, which is very good library for the piano. And in the spectrum, you can see that I'm just removing some high end and shaving off some low end as well. Why I'm doing that? I'm doing that because I wanted the piano to be in the mid range only. So vocals can sit on top of it and other elements like ambience can go well with the piano. So yeah, it's about making room for other elements as well. So that's why I'm removing off some high end and taming off some low end as well, like you can see in the EQ as well. And also I'm using a 21% of OTT. That's a basic settings, I didn't tweak at all. And there is a compressor which is sidechain compressor, which comes later when the drums part comes in. That's it. And in the breaks, I'm using their stems for the strings, which sounds like this. So it's a little washed out sound of the strings. They must have put reverb a lot. So I was just treating like as an ambient sound rather than just making a main string sound like an arpeggio of the string. Then I'm having this stem. It's an ambient stem. And it's a one more very beautiful ambient sound. What I'm doing with this, I'm doing nothing with this stem, and as it is sounding very amazing. And to start a project, here we are having a reverse synth kind of sound. I'm doing nothing with this sound as well. And then I added a little guitar transition which I made like in my older laptop, like using guitars and strings or violin as a transition. I always use them to make it more interesting and make it more unique as well. And then later stage, I'm adding a bass guitar which sounds like this. And in the last note, I'm having a little variation for the drums part, because in the drums part, bass guitar is like rhythmic guitar playing consistently at 1/16th notes. So yeah, the variation I made is this. Well, I'm using it as a transition as well here. And later in the breakdown part, we having strings which sounds like this. It is a very good bass preset from Contact. It is from Ambient sounds. It sounds very clean, very good. I'm just using a little bit of compression, saturation, EQ and a delay, and then a reverb just to send it in a space. That's all. Then I have a little interesting part with the acoustic drums, so which sounds like this. Everything very clean, very natural, and it sounds very good because I always use acoustic sounds like acoustic guitar, electric guitar, acoustic drums as well, so that people can connect to the track and people really love these soft rock kind of sounds. Yeah, I always use them to make the track interesting and simple. So here we are having an acoustic kick which sounds like this. Along with the snares. Along with hi-hats. And then a Kashmir crash sound which sounds like this. So yeah, very good, very simple yet effective at the same time. So for starting the drum section, I'm having these fills just to introduce the drums so that it doesn't sound like sudden effect. Yeah, it sounds like this. And in the context, it sounds like this. So for the processing of the acoustic drums, I always use simple plugins and some more kind of like analog type-ish plugins so that it sounds good but yet natural at the same time. So first plugin I'm using the Fire the Pump. It's a saturating plugin from Acoustic Audio, and then I'm using an EQ just to bring up some of the lower details at the low mix, like 180Hz just to pop up the snares a bit, 60Hz just to bring that thump of the kick up as well, and then a Saturn 2 just to give it a nice tape saturation, and then an inflator just to bring up some lower details in the mix of the drums, and a reverb just to put them in a space. So people might say that why I'm giving drums a reverb. Well, let's see in the mix of the 100% of the reverb. Well, it pushing the drums a little bit backward but giving it a dimension. It is more like a 3D kind of thing. That's why I'm using it. So yeah, this sounds phenomenal. And then a stadium claps. And with the drums, it sounds like this. So yeah, I'm panning the claps a little bit rightwards just to create a little bit of space for other elements at the same time. And then this part in here, after the drums part, it is a very smooth, calming part, like a climax part. I'm introducing a little bit of teaser of the drop melody, which sounds like this. It's a very smooth guitar and having some little bit of EQ there, and OTT with 55%, which is a lot, and then a saturator, and then a LA2A style compressor just to tame off the peaks in this, and then a filter, and then there is a delay chain and with a reverb, and that's it, nothing more crazy. And people will say that my piano is in the mid-range as well, and this lead guitar is also in the mid-range. How I'm balancing these elements? I'm balancing these elements by panning. So I'm panning the guitar to the left, and at the same time the piano is in the center. So guitar is in the left and piano is in the center. That's how we make space for each other so that they complement each other well. So yeah, that was it for this part. Now let's move on to the build-up section, which sounds like this. So in this part there is nothing more crazy going here. So that's basic stems they sent me for the build-up, which sounds like this. So yeah, very simple, and then some FXs. And an ambience going as well. So yeah, everything is very simple, and then the same old string, same old bass guitar, same old piano, nothing more crazy. And then I'm introducing a fill here, which sounds like this. Also very simple, and some leads which are filtered. And now let's move on to the drop part. Sorry to interrupt you guys, I wanted to tell you that you can download the project. Just click the link in the bio and enjoy the project as well. So here we are in the drop part, and let me show you guys the drop drums, how they sounds like. First of all, the kick, then my rides and claps stems. I always use them in my tracks. More rides, more like a white noise ride. Some crashes. And here I'm panning them as well. First rides and claps are on the little bit of the left, like 14% of the left, and some rides are 9% on the right, and also the crashes, one crash to the right and one crash to the left, so that it surrounds the atmosphere. Let me show you guys the leads first. All together they sounds like this. So yeah, As you heard, it sounds fantastic and really powerful. So first, let me show you guys the layer first. First layer, it sounds like this. Then the second layer. Third layer. Fourth layer. So as you heard, that first three sounds were more like each other. So that first three layers are giving the foundation to the sound, and then coming like filling up the space and sounds like that. And then the fifth layer is my main leads, sounds like this. So yeah, this lead sounds very powerful, that's why I used it. And then sixth sound. Just to give some drop, a little bit of wideness there. And then also like this sound is going to give a little bit of different character, like some shaky leads is there, and also it is very wide, that's why I used it. And with everything, it sounds like this. So as you heard, it sounds very good and very wide, also powerful at the same time. And let's move on to the chords. Our chords together, they sounds like this. Chords are also very good, very airy, very light. And let me show you guys the layers. First layer is this. Then the second layer. Third layer. Fourth layer. And yeah, that's all with the synth chords. And then I later added a piano chord which sounds like this. I added piano chords because it acts like a mediator with the synth chords and the mid bass as well. And then the mid bass sounds like this. Super good sound, super good energy is there. And let me show you guys the layers. First layer is this. Second layer. Third layer. Fourth layer. I added this layer because it is having some movements, like it is having some vowel kind of sound in that. So I really love that, so I decided to put them in. And last layer, it sounds like this. And in the last mid bass, I added a phaser so that it creates more movement in the low end, so it doesn't sound like empty and doesn't sounds boring to me. So yeah, that was my motto. And then I added a Reese bass so that it acts like a mediator with the sub bass for the mid bass, and it sounds like this. And for one more thing, I'm adding a Reese bass because if you add a Reese bass very light in the drop, so it creates a width in the low end which people really loves. In the Nicky Romero tracks, in like Timo Hendrix track, they use this, and their sounds are pretty amazing at the low end. So that was my aim, so that I can achieve that kind of low end. And then I added a bass guitar so that low end also amplifies the rhythm of the lead, also plays the rhythm of the chords, and with the mid bass as well. So as you know, that sub bass is a very kind of sensitive and also very difficult thing to control, because their frequency is very slow. To control those frequency, always use a limiter or a clipper, and the pattern with the sub bass doesn't usually heard by the listener. So that's why I'm using a bass guitar, so that in the lower mid region it amplifies the rhythm, so that everything goes smooth and everything like sounds one. So that's why I'm using it. And then the sub bass, it sounds like this, like very boomy, very light, and very like thumpy sub bass we have. So that was it. And then I have a reload impact. It sounds like this. And then some fills, which sounds like this. And that was all, just to make the track interesting. Then ambience, some downlifter loops, also arpeggio stem they sent me. So yeah, super good. And I'm also using a crowd noise so that it amplifies the energy in the drop, because the drop is so energetic, and with adding a crowd noise we are amplifying the energy. With everything together, it sounds like this. So yeah, super good, super simple, and yet energetic. Let's come to the second breakdown part, which is having a unique kind of guitar, which sounds like this. So yeah, it sounds super emotional, super good, just like Illenium recorded it. So yeah, that's why I used it. And with the context in the mix, it sounds like this.
Looking back now,
Here we are having one more variation, that there was a one climax section in the previous breakdown, but in here is two. My aim with these climax is to reduce the energy till the build up, so that with the build up it regenerates the energy, and it drop it just like fully blown out. So that was my aim. So with this part I covered like everything in the track, just like how I made the track more interesting, more organic, giving the human touches as well. You can have this project and check out the mixing as well, like how I mix the track, which effects I'm using on the leads, how I'm making them more powerful, how I'm making them sit together in the mix. So yeah, everything you can see in the track. Just go in the link in the bio and download this project. So yeah, that was it for this track. Let's just enjoy the full result here.
been adding down low under your long shadow for months now, but it feels like years. I never said much, just how tight in your clothes. scars that felt like they never cleared. These are changing times, so I take my stand. You can try to fight me, I don't give a damn. Please let go, been in your grasp now for far too long, and I want out. I can get emotion when you move out of the way. So much to do to try to save. Once it ain't about you, so I'll never see your name again. Never again. Not looking back now, I don't miss being held down for months then, but it felt like years. These are changing times, so I take my stand. You can try to fight me, I don't give a damn. Please let go, been in your grasp now for far too long, and I want out. I can get emotion when you move out of the way. So much to do to try to save. For once it ain't about you, so I'll never say your name again. Not again.